Hi, my name is Troy Hanley. I'm the Managing Director of Private Clients at Henley and Partners in London. However, I'm also working quite extensively with our West Africa team, uh, the guys based in Nigeria, across Ghana, Francophone West Africa. Very interesting market, keeps us very busy. And today we're going to share a bit of insights about what we're doing there, the programs that our clients from that region are going for and investing into. And hopefully we can have a good Q&A at the end of this presentation as well. So I'm just going to share my screen quickly here. This should work fine. Okay, good. So Henley and Partners are going to speak briefly, firstly, about who we are and what we do. The main thing that Hanley and Partners does, our focus is residence and citizenship by investment for high net worth individuals and families. This is by far our most important service that we undertake. And because of this, we have a network of high net worth families right around the globe, from the UK, the US, to China, to Nigeria, South Africa. We have really spread the globe, and we've collected this group of very wealthy families through our 25 years in business, which is longer than anyone else in the industry. It's important to notice or to mention that we have a thriving government advisory practice. So not only do we advise clients and families about these programs, but we also are advising governments on how to create these programs, how to run them and manage them as well. So we're on both sides of the ledger. So moving on here, you can see here on this map, this is our global presence of offices. There's a very important one there based in Africa, West Africa, our Nigerian office, but that is expanding as we speak. We have teams in Ghana and Francophone West Africa as well. This here is a summary of basically what I've just said about our unprecedented global reach. That's a good way to put it. And here a summary of the numbers about Henley and Partners. Quite a nice one there, 10 billion in USD. That's foreign direct investment that our company has had a hand in funneling towards countries for their development. So moving into our industry itself, the world of investment migration, that's the name we call our industry. And it can be put into two categories for memory's sake. Residence by investment. This is all about getting a resident visa or permit, which is usually not permanent. It's usually just a temporary permit to have to enter and exit this country, but it doesn't come with a passport. Whereas citizenship is associated with having a passport. It is permanent. It's the fullest rights that someone can get in a country. For this reason, clients are usually more motivated to obtain citizenship. Although in my presentation now, I'll show you a few reasons why people will be quite motivated to apply for residence as well. Here is a nice summary of the differences between residence and citizenship. Citizenship being a much more attractive prospect because it is stronger. A quick mention as well of Henley's passport index. When we're talking about passports, this is a ranking of all the passports in the world based on their visa-free ability. And so it's, for one, it's a useful tool if you want to understand if your passport's visa-free to a certain country, if you're traveling. But also it's a nice way to see the ranking of passports. And you can see that not all passports are created equal. Some at the top there from Europe and some wealthy Asian countries, and some at the bottom from the Middle East and Africa. So it's our job to help people from the bottom to obtain some of those passports from at the top. That's what we do. Here is a nice cross-section of all of the programs that we work with. I'm not going to speak through all of these. Instead, today I'm going to speak about some of the programs where people have a mind to actually migrate, to move to a new country for lifestyle or for tax purposes or for their kids' education. Whereas Chi will have a different approach for countries that are applied for while staying in your home country. In any case, this is the list here. So 4 countries from Europe and then 3 Anglophone countries that I will touch on. And some of these here are countries that we get the most inquiries about, I would say, from the West Africa region, from Nigeria as well. Portugal. So if you know anything about our industry, you would have heard about Portugal. It is the most popular residence program globally. It's really made a name for itself. It's been in the news frequently. People in Portugal want to stop the program, but the demand from overseas investors is just so high that they're going to keep it going. When the last we've heard about that. So Portugal residence, very short summary is that you gain a residence through your investment, which can be into capital transfer, property acquisition, or business. The major selling point of Portugal and why it's so popular and in demand is that you can qualify for a Portuguese residency without having to live there. You spend a few days in Portugal, you'll qualify for the Portuguese passport after 5 years of holding that residence and holding that investment. And the Portuguese passport is seriously strong. I mean, it's visa-free to the UK, to the USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, amongst, I think, 187 countries visa-free. So it's a tremendous passport to have. Not to mention the fact that it lets you live anywhere in Europe, like most EU passports do. So if you can wait that 5 years, Portugal is a great prospect. Here we have a summary of the investment options, very hard to read, but suffice it to say that in the lowest investment level is 280,000 euros. Summary here of the advantages, disadvantages, but citizenship is for sure the goal that most people have in mind for Portugal. Okay, now the next 3 European programs that I will talk about, these ones I am going to go over very quickly. They're all very similar. They're not like Portugal, where you can gain the citizenship by staying in your home country. Unfortunately, the next 3 you must live in the country to obtain citizenship. So the next 3 are really for people who have an affinity with the country. They have an intention to specifically move to that country. So we have firstly the Greek Golden Visa Program, and this one is a very low investment level of 250,000 euros. You get your residence very quickly, just over a month, and that allows you to move to Greece and take advantage of this beautiful country. But of course, worth mentioning, to obtain citizenship of Greece, you must live there for about 7 years. Italy, similar to Greece, 250,000 is the entry level here. And it's a great country, a bit large economy with lots of opportunities for investors, education, and business. To obtain the Italian citizenship, you must live in the country for 10 years in Italy as well. And similarly, Spain, a little bit more expensive at 500,000 euros, but that will get you residence fairly quickly. You have the right to live, work, study in Spain itself. To qualify for Spanish residence, though, you must live in the country for 10 years. Okay, moving to North America, which of course there's a lot of demand for North American programs. The Canadian Startup Visa is one that people should be aware of because it's quite an amazing program. It allows an individual to get permanent residence through being an entrepreneur with some business ideas. You don't actually have to start a business in Canada. You don't have to you don't have to actually physically start a business in Canada. They just want to know that you're an entrepreneur and that you have the intention of starting a business, and that's it. And so for this reason, this program is quite easy. The financial outlay you'll need to create your business plan and so forth is going to be around 250,000 US dollars. But if you can front that cash, it's a very easy, non-resistant pathway to Canada. So one to keep in mind. The United Kingdom Innovative Visa. So I think a lot of people are aware UK immigration is a bit tricky and it's a bit of a mess right now. But the Innovative Visa is one pathway for someone to start a business in the UK. As long as that is a creative, innovative business, they can obtain residence in the UK, qualify for permanent residence and citizenship after 5 years in the country. So for business people, if you don't have the intention to start a business in the UK, this is a very tough category, or the UK in general is tough. United States EB5, always in demand. So this is again about an investment into a business. You don't have to be active into the business in the USA. All the benefits are self-explanatory for the US. The minimum investment is 800,000 US dollars into the US, and a green card and citizenship is available after about 5 years. So happy to take question and answers in due course, but suffice it to say, those programs we just mentioned are based around people moving countries. So Chi will have a different take on her program she's speaking about. For those you've just heard about, it's about people seeking greener pastures, new lifestyle, new education, business, employment, those sorts of things. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy. Thank you so much. It's interesting to know that resident option for immigration is not really as difficult as we initially expected, especially if you use consultants, people that can show you the ropes. Just to recap a few of your points, some of the available countries for resident programs include Portugal, Greece, Italy, Spain, Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States. But a capital contribution is required for these programs. So Troy, I will go to the Q&A. I have Troy here, and I'll be asking you a few of the questions I can see here. So I have a question that says, what are some of the top residence by investment programs available for Africans looking to relocate and secure a second residency or citizenship?
Yes. Okay. So I guess the list I just went through would be some of the top picks. And Chidinma and myself are helping many African-based investors to get these residences on a weekly and monthly basis. Some of the top ones would be, like I said, Portugal. I mean, the attraction of being able to achieve a passport of that strength without even having to live in Portugal. You can stay in your home country and achieve that passport of Portugal. I mean, that's invaluable. And so we have huge demand for that one. And then secondly, there's a couple behind that. Maybe Spain and Greece are quite popular as well, although the passport is trickier to obtain. It's more just a residence. However, besides that, we always get a lot of questions about those big three: USA, Canada, UK. These really are about moving country. So they're good programs. They're excellent countries to go and set up and send your kids to school, but you have to be committed to move there. You really can't do this while staying in your home country. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have an anonymous question. It says, please, does the process allow for an instrumental payment plan? Can they pay in installments?
Sure. So, I mean, it depends on which program. For the most part, these processes, they require the investment to be done after approval for most of them. And that means that we can start the process with a little bit of payment upfront. You'll pay some government fees when you make the application, and then the larger investment amount can be done right at the end. However, if the question is about installments ranging over a number of years after you get your residence and citizenship, unfortunately, that's not possible. These countries will want to see the investment before they grant you the residence or citizenship.
Oh, all right. I'll ask one more question because we don't have so much time, and but Troy will actually be in the Q&A box and he'll be responding to the questions that I'm not able to read out. So there's one here that says from Anonymous, is there a reason the Caribbeans have been excluded?
Yes, there is. That's a good reason, and that's because I believe Chidinma is about to touch on those herself. So the programs I went over are really about the programs where people are obtaining residences or maybe moving country. Chidinma, who's going to speak a little shortly, so please stay on the webinar. She'll be touching on these other very interesting ones, which are more about when you stay based in your home country. Yeah.